Hey guys, Scott here. Today we're going to be talking about Spirit Fury. The reason I want to bring this perk up is because the developers brought it up in their most recent stream for the whole all-kill mid-chapter patch that we're getting with the new map and the Trickster changes. There have been changes to a lot of perk descriptions because they want to have more consistent verbiage, I guess, based on their own definition. So they introduced a new term called Special Break, which is a pallet break, but it's done with a killer power. So this mechanic has been in the game forever, but it didn't have an actual name. So they just wanted to give that a specific name, and they assured us it doesn't mean anything is changing gameplay-wise, it's just to make their descriptions more clear. Then they immediately showed us Spirit Fury, which had to change gameplay-wise, so I was very confused upon reviewing it because they literally had just said, this is not changing gameplay, and then they showed Spirit Fury, which is now different. So I'm going to assume the description is accurate and not the developers, I guess, and we'll go with that for the rest of this conversation. So if you guys are unaware, Spirit Fury is no longer able to be charged with special pallet breaks. That means if you're, playing Bubba, if you break a pallet with your chainsaw, that doesn't charge it. If you're Demogorgon and shred it, it doesn't charge it. If you're Myers and break it with your power, it doesn't charge it. You can only gain Spirit Fury tokens now if you manually kick a pallet. For those who know what Spirit Fury does, every time you kick a pallet, you gain a token. When you have 2 tokens, the next time you're stunned, the pallet instantly breaks on top of you. It's really good for kind of lower tier killers that can't really deal with loops very well. And so they're actually kind of nerfing it. Like, Bubba, for example, is going to be hit really hard by this because Spirit Fury Enduring on Bubba was really nice. It put survivors in a really bad spot. If the pre-dropped it, you were revving your chainsaw, you broke the pallet immediately. If they dropped it on your head, well, they Spirit Furied, and now you're dead immediately. So it really put Bubba in a really good spot. Now, a lot of people are really, really happy about this change. A lot of people are happy that Eerie Button Legion is dead, for example. It's not dead, by the way. You can still use Eerie Button, and people are still going to do it in the same not very fun way. But the whole point is people are overall, kind of celebrating this, and some people are not happy with it as well. Some people are saying the perk's completely dead. I think not really any of these things is true. This is actually not a huge problem, in my opinion. Like I said, it pretty heavily affects, Bubba. Bubba is going to feel it. And Eerie Button Legion, to some extent, is going to feel it. But most other killers like Nemesis, for example, that might have benefited from it, already break pallets so well. You shouldn't be using Spirit Fury Enduring on Nemesis, for example. So I use it on Wraith. The only killer I actually use it on is Wraith, and Wraith is going to be just fine with it. The actual perk's effect is not changing. It's just the actual way you charge the perk, and Wraith obviously has no special pallet break, so I'm just going to benefit from it regardless. So I'm not too worried about it, but I do understand, a lot of people are being upset, that Eerie Button Legion is gone. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here. Most people that are complaining about Spirit Fury Enduring, I'm saying Spirit Fury Enduring because nobody runs one without the other. If you break the pallet on your head and you're stunned for 2 seconds, they get away anyway, so you've just wasted a perk. So it's always run together. The combination has been known as End Fury. So here's the thing with End Fury. It's not really that great. It's not a very strong perk combination. You are basically using half of your build to hit one guy every couple of pallets, maybe, sometimes, assuming they don't just drop it earlier. It's very easily counterplayed. The most Spirit Fury should do to you in a lobby is get you hit one time. Because any subsequent time from that, they have Spirit Fury. Hell, you can even guess that by the fact they have Enduring before you even see the Spirit Fury. So this is worst case scenario in solo queue. Spirit Fury makes it so you get hit one time, as long as you have a working brain. That is all the perk does. It's not particularly amazing. So people complaining about it being overpowered, I think that is just ridiculous. It's not even a very commonly picked perk. Not only is it not common, but it's not even that great. Like I said, it's just for one instance of hitting a guy one time. Now, in solo queue, you could argue that means you can hit everybody once because maybe no one is seeing that happened, but that's just simply not the case. There are so many little tells that someone has Spirit Fury, swinging aggressively through the pallet, having Enduring in general. You can you can pretty clearly understand when a killer's got Spirit Fury based on the way they're playing before you've even seen the perk. So I don't even think it's that great. The reason I run it on Wraith in particular is because it's nice because he doesn't have super strong anti-loop. That's really it. He's good at kicking pallets, especially if you run Shadow Dance or something, and that makes it so he can charge it a bit easier. But Wraith's anti-loop is not particularly amazing, and it's one of the few things I can actually do to deal with, 20 pallets on a map. It feels nice to have. But again, by no means is it overpowered. No, what people are mostly complaining about is the lack of interaction. People are glad Eerie Button Legion is getting nerfed because it's really boring. And to some extent, yeah, I can agree with that. It is kind of boring. There's not much you do against an Eerie Button Legion. You drop the pallet and then they just vault over it, charge some Spirit Fury, and then the pallet's broken, they cancel it, and they just keep chasing you that way. It's very, very just one note. Everyone's doing the exact same flow chart of gameplay. It's not very exciting. And like I said, I can agree with that. The problem is people are like, Legion, what are you going to do without your crutch Spirit Fury for your Eerie button now? And it's like, dude, the whole crutch insult only works if the dude doesn't need crutches. It's like going up to a guy with 2 broken legs, swatting the crutches away, and be like, look at this fucking idiot, he can't walk without his crutches. It's like, yeah, he needs it. Legion kind of sucks ass without it. That's the thing that kind of annoys me here. It's like, yeah, it's boring to go against, but the reason people do it is because it's the only thing that isn't abysmal dog shit on Legion. He's just not a good killer in any regard. So the fact that he has one build that's kind of okay, the whole point is like that's one of the only things he actually has that's decently strong to use. Without it, he has zero chance of beating any good teams whatsoever. So at the same time, I understand that it's kind of not interesting to go against. You also maybe, see my side here that he also doesn't really have much to do. Like this whole thing, like it's based on the argument that if something is not interesting, you should never have to go against it. And like, I get that. There have been things in this game's, history, like old Legion, for example, like the original Legion, that are so uninteresting that, you really should not have to go against that. But there is a certain level of low engagement you just have to accept when playing Dead by Daylight. For example, if you're playing Survivor, you're probably going to be doing a generator for 2 minutes. The most boring thing you could possibly do. You're just going to sit and do nothing for 2 minutes. Let's actually do a perk comparison. Like Spirit Fury Enduring, it's boring because the counterplay is very simple. You just pre-drop, that's boring. Or you just get hit, that's also boring. Everything about Spirit Fury is boring. Agreed. But then you look at a perk like, at the risk of doing whataboutism, a perk that's been in the game since the game came out, Sprint Burst. Sprint Burst is 10 times worse than that because Sprint Burst is boring because you just hold W for, 10 seconds longer to do initiate a chase, so that's not fun. And it also has no counterplay. At least Spirit Fury has a lot of counterplay. There is no counterplay to Sprint Burst. And you could argue maybe Mindbreaker and hope they don't 99 it with your own 5-second counter that you've given them or something like that, or like any type of exhaustion add-on. But there is very, very low to no counterplay to a properly used Sprint Burst. And it's also extremely boring. At least Spirit Fury is just boring. It's not even good or super widely picked or anything like that. It just sort of exists to boost shitty killers that can't deal with 20 pallets on a map. That's basically it. Because Legion has even less anti-loop than Wraith, for example. When it comes to actually downing someone. Obviously, when hitting somebody, that's a different story. But when it comes to actually downing someone, Legion has even less than Wraith. So I do understand. And like I said, I've complained about a lot of boring things too, so I'm no stranger to it as well. But I do think people that are super happy about, Eerie Button Legion getting nerfed for this because of Spirit Fury, you guys have to realize that because that's the only actual thing that Legion could do to really beat good players, you're just going to see less Legions now, which you might be happy with. But in exchange, you're probably going to get more ghouls, which you're not going to be happy with, or more blights, or more nurses, or more killers that can deal with all of these things and not have to literally rely on crutches because their legs are actually broken and they can't do much without it. So that's my whole point. If you take away the one good build a shitty killer has, you're just not going to see that killer anymore. And again, you might think, yay, no more Legion. But then you're just going to get something even worse than that because people are going to be fed up losing with a killer they can't win with anymore because the one viable build they had is no longer effective. So you're just going to see more other shit that you hate. You're just swapping shit for diarrhea. You're not doing much. You're just still going to be upset with something. It's a hard discussion to have, truly. I understand the nuance to it, and there is just a certain level of boredom you have to accept, but it's really hard to determine what that actually is. My whole point is, Spirit Fury, not an overpowered perk, very uninteresting, but it's very easily countered. I don't think you should be really celebrating it that much because, like I said, you're just going to now encounter less interactive things in a different manner. There's always going to be something boring, and picking something weak to celebrate getting removed from the game is not the battle you should be fighting. Pick things like Blight for getting nerfed. Pick things like Nurse or Slugging Twins or, I don't know, the First or something like. Pick things that are an actual more viable discussion and actually can be entertained for nerfing, and not going and picking a C-tier killer and being happy that they've gotten further nerfed. To me, that just makes no sense. Pick the battles that make sense in terms of balance. accept some things are not very fun, and go from there. Again, I know it's a complicated discussion there, but I just wanted to go over it. I am not particularly happy that it's nerfed, but again, it's also not going to affect me, so I don't care that much. I also wanted to include a little example from the other day when I was playing Wraith and realized that there were a shit ton of pallets. I want you to just watch this game and watch how many times Spirit Fury is used and go over the how this match would have gone with Wraith, who's not a particularly strong killer, if I did not actually have the perk. Yeah, the X gene. Okay, I wasn't prepared for that crossover. Because he's a Nazi? That makes no sense. Magneto was quite specifically anti-Nazi. I don't like this setup at all. People who bond really well mutate wildly. I see. Why are there so many pallets close together here? Jesus. Big surge value. Yeah, it's like fucking 2v8 pallet setup. What the hell's going on here? This is malarkey. This experiment involved some kind of animal with electromagnetic properties. Like what? Like an electric eel or something? A tiger? I don't remember tigers having electromagnetic properties, but you know. Thanks, Sable. Thanks for saving my Spirit Fury. Very nice of you. Lady D becoming a vampire, Murrow was a fish. Oh yeah, that was a giant fish, man. I don't know why I'm drawing the line at Magneto powers when there was a literal vampire and giant fish. But, you know, that's where I'm drawing the line. Oh, I didn't uncloak. Oh, I guess because my bar was filled with that. That's kind of weird, actually. Where'd Leon go? Leon, what the fuck are we doing here? Just Leon things, I guess. Have you tried turning back the clock with uncloak at it? Yeah. I tried it on the first day. It's okay. It's a fun gimmick. Not particularly great, though. Why do Leons do anything? I don't know, man. Wraith's pretty good at using turn back the clock because he can just kind of drive by, do shit. And like not worry about cloaking, which is really nice. He's also good at kicking gens too. Oh my god, this 3-gen is nuts. That gen popping was like the worst time. The entire team is here. We're gonna go back to this building over here, commonly known as the shack. That's a rock. There's actually a crazy amount of pallets here. Am I nuts, or is this like, did they add more pallets to this map? Like it's you know, it's fine. I have Spirit Fury, so I don't really care, but I feel like there's just more pallets here than normal. Age of 50-50? I mean, some of these pallets are not 50-50s. Some of these are actually kind of decent. That's not one of them, but the one back there near Shack was. And it was combined with Shack, which is crazy. What the hell is this thing? Oh, okay. When you have downtime, check mains pallets. I still only saw one in main. I don't think there's any more in main. Just like feels like the outskirts have more now. Jack has been brutalized so many times, I'm not even sure if I can kick it anymore. That should be a hit. Watching streamers close their eyes while blind and navigate in their minds. It genuinely helps. I got that. I maybe could have swung at that. They want Shaq so bad you think it's the last gen? I mean, it is pretty aggravating when you get a gen to like 99% and you have to leave it and then you keep watching it regress over and over and over again. Like this thing was at 99, now it's at like 20. And that is very sad. So I get the urge to like want that to stop. Leon gives up. Nice reverse. I don't know how that didn't actually count as a hit. We're very lucky, sir. Feels bad watching a gen lose that much progress. Yeah, it really does. I understand why people want to try to stop that shit. I guess we'll go hill. Don't very much care for a new Vecta, but turn back clock is so nice. Yeah, it is a nice perk. I feel like it's a lot better on certain killers. Wraith is like an example of a killer that it's really good on because you can just drive by, blow shit up, and move on. Hope they had Vecna 3 soon. I don't think that they will. I think that pop is good on the Burning Crusade. I agree. There are actually so many pallets on this map. Like there are just like actually like so many, like they're not great pallets, but there's just so many fillers. It's crazy. Thank you, Leon, for the bonus surge. That was the most DVD moment of my life. Oh my god. At least that happened towards the end of the game, like, so I feel like I didn't get robbed of a match after a 9-minute queue. Can you be mad at that? Nah, that's just funny. Like, if that happened at the start of the match, I'd be mad because my game was ruined. But we got to play most of the game out, so it's fine. How's DBD? It's pretty terrible today, I'm not gonna lie. 10-minute queues for people to just, I don't know, not seem to try, and or I get an indoor map. It's not been a great day. Can't sprint bursted Wraith. Turn back the clock works really well on Ghoul. I mean, it's really good on any killer that's got mobility in any regards. Anyone that can beam around the maps and just do that is, yeah, it's very good. I legit feel like there are twice the number of pallets as normal on this map right now. Like, legitimately, it feels like the map is bugged. Like, thank God I have Spirit Fury, because I have kicked, what, at least 12, 13 pallets by now? Give up on playing Vecna? Yeah, it's impossible. No one plays against them, they just instantly disconnect, so. Add-ons am I running? Swift Hunt and Windstorm. And only ever Swift Hunt and Windstorm. Did this patch add this map to 2v8? No, I think it was last patch too. But yeah, there have been a crazy amount of fillers. I think I've kicked 13. There's still one in main. I mean, to be fair, we've kicked almost all the maps. One in main makes 14 and this makes 15. The one in main is upstairs somewhere. Is there one back here? Yep. 16. Crazy. It's the world's slowest saw blade. Game page of the hatch to make up the 2v8. Yeah, that was nice of it.